Shout out to our sponsor, Movement Watches. Skip the gift-giving anxiety this year and give the gift of time. Watches start at just 95 bucks and you can get 15% off with free shipping and free returns at mvmt.com/theknow. Welcome to the Know and welcome back from Thanksgiving long weekend. I'm Ashley. The biggest shopping day of the year is now behind us, and some of the early reports from Black Friday indicate that the biggest winner was the Nintendo Switch. Well, online at least, which is interesting considering that Nintendo wasn't officially offering any kind of discount. Now, these figures come from Adobe Digital Insights, which tracks data points from the web's biggest online retailers, and their studies indicate the Switch was the most sought after online product for Thanksgiving and Black Friday. Now, it should again be noted this doesn't include foot traffic at retail, plus it's an estimation on web traffic and searches. Still kind of crazy that Nintendo might end up with one of the best selling products on the biggest shopping day of the year that wasn't on sale. Anyway, for some reason the holiday weekend brought loads of news about previously unannounced games in development as well. The first of those is Devil May Cry 5, courtesy of a huge set of supposed leaks posted on Reset Era. The leak comes from user Son of Sparta, who agreed to a permaban if it turns out to be fake, which doesn't mean it's real by any stretch, so best just take it with a grain of salt for now. However, Son of Sparta posted a ton of alleged information about the game, revealing that it's Hideaki Itsuno's secret project at Capcom. It's a direct sequel to the series rather than a reboot, and it's set to release between April 2018 and March 2019. The poster also hinted at some form of PlayStation exclusivity and says it will be the longest development time on a Devil May Cry game yet. In terms of game details, Son of Sparta claims there will be multiple playable characters, it's targeted at 60 FPS, the levels are more open than previous games, there's a new and improved dynamic camera system, there's more environmental interactivity, and boss fights have been majorly scaled up. And considering it's been nearly a decade since Devil May Cry 4, yeah, it has. This is all probably very, very welcome news to fans if true. In addition to Devil May Cry 5, reports also surfaced that Alien Isolation, Halo Wars, and Total War devs Creative Assembly are hard at work on a new IP. The company posted several positions to its career page recently that indicate they're creating a new title that they call genre-defining, which from the sound of the job descriptions will include some kind of multiplayer service. The positions they're currently hiring for are Senior Metagame Designer, Lead Technical Artist, and Lead System Designer. One studio insider told PC Games Then that whatever this new IP is, it's the biggest multi-format project Creative Assembly has ever undertaken. So that sounds promising. And to top off all those other game development reports, we've also got word that Playground Games, the developer behind the critically acclaimed Forza Horizon series, dude, Forza Horizon 3 was great, is gearing up for something outside of its typical wheelhouse, an open-world action RPG, maybe not involving cars. According to a new report from GamesIndustry.biz, Playground has officially doubled in staff for this new venture, with one team committed to Forza Horizon and the other team focusing on this new title. And apparently, they are getting some world-class talent, including Sean Istone, former senior producer on Battlefront 2 with prior work on Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, plus chief designer William Kennedy from Grand Theft Auto 5, and Juan Fernandez de Simon, former senior designer on Hellblade. So those are some good people. CEO Gavin Rayburn said, "This is a hugely exciting project that is already attracting world-class talent to Playground. The combination of new blood and experienced Playground team members is already showing huge promise, and I'm excited to see this talented group contribute to Playground's continued success." Given Playground Games' previous track record, maybe, possibly another future Xbox exclusive? I don't know, no word on that just yet. That's purely speculation. We'll have to wait for an official announcement, but it could be part of that. Microsoft has been talking about how they've got exclusives in the pipeline, stuff they're working on that they're just not talking about yet. Maybe this is one of them. Or maybe it's not, we'll see. Everyone's getting in on the worldwide loot box hating party, and now the UK Gambling Commission has joined several other gambling regulators with some comments of their own about Battlefront 2. However, don't fire up the pitchforks or the torches just yet. According to them, loot boxes don't quite cross the line of gambling yet, anyway. The commission released a statement on their website over the weekend saying that loot boxes don't meet the criteria because you can't cash them out. They wrote, "A key factor in deciding if that line has been crossed is whether in-game items acquired via a game of chance can be considered money or money's worth. In practical terms, this means that where in-game items obtained via loot boxes are confined for use within the game and cannot be cashed out, it is unlikely to be caught as a licensable gambling activity. In those cases, our legal powers would not allow us to step in. However, they did indicate that developers need to be careful about their mechanics, or it could end up requiring future regulation. So there's that. Now, Steam is more popular than ever these days. The platform recently set a new record for concurrent users. Over the holiday weekend, there were more than 17.6 million users online at the same time. I assume it's because they're all busy getting away from their families, escaping, spending some alone time, checking out some sales. The most popular game, won't surprise you, is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which almost hit 3 million concurrent players, followed by Dota 2, which was a distant second with under 1 million players. It's still weird to think that the biggest game on Steam's platform has been eclipsed that far, that quickly. But here we are. That number could actually go up again next month, considering December is always full of holiday sales, deals for users. They'll have their winter sale that follows this sale, and then we got the whole long holiday break. It could happen, guys. It'll be crazy. You pick up anything cool on the sale? Yeah, I bet you did. You gonna play it? You're not. Activision isn't happy about a new dog cleaning service, well, cleaning up after service that has the best name ever. The publisher may oppose a patent from a service that helps you pick up after your pet, and it's called Call of Duty. Well, yeah, we're taking everyone by surprise. Well, Activision, who apparently hates fun, has asked for an extension to potentially register their opposition for a patent for the service, which is run by a couple in California. Activision now has until the end of the year to oppose the patent for Call of Duty because apparently they want to get into the poop scooping business. Maybe it's DLC, who knows? Either way, someone made that business after all our online jokes. So we'll see what happens with that. Could there still be some life left in the Deus Ex franchise? I really do hope so. I really do. Square Enix, who previously said the series is on hiatus after the somewhat disappointing sales of Mankind Divided, said that the Cyberpunk series isn't done yet. CEO Yosuke Matsuda told GamesIndustry.biz, "We have never said anything about discontinuing that title, but for some reason that's the rumor out on the market." He added, "What I can say is Eidos Montreal has always developed Deus Ex, and the issue is we do not have limitless resources. We have several big titles that we work with, and that's partly a factor in what our lineup looks like. The reason there isn't a Deus Ex right now is just a product of our development lineup because there are other titles we are working on." He added that the franchise is very important to Square Enix and that they're already internally discussing and exploring where it might go next. So, yes, nothing happening yet, but that is some good news for all you Deus Ex fans out there. All of you, like me. Even if it doesn't look like there's going to be a new game anytime soon, it means there's hope. At this year's E3, Nintendo announced that there would be a mainline Pokemon game coming to the Switch, but since then, we haven't heard anything more. But thanks to a retail site in Australia, we may have a possible release window, possibly. According to EB Games' Australian website, a Switch game called Pokemon RPG is listed for $99.95 for a release date sometime in 2019. Now, this site noted that the price is as placeholder, and there's a similar listing for Metroid Prime 4, but that is more than we've had before. So we'll just see how much of a placeholder that is, or if it's for at least a window, or maybe it's when they're predicting it to happen, but they did publish the entry, so we'll see. Hey, remember Pokemon Go? Remember how popular it was to the point where a lot of really, really stupid people were driving and playing it at the same time and being real ridiculous? Turns out those people did a lot of damage. Two economists from Purdue University crunched the numbers for one county in Indiana and discovered that in the first 148 days after the game was released last year, the total damages associated with vehicle crashes, injuries, and even to fatalities ranged from $5 to $25 million. And if you extrapolate those numbers for the whole US, that means the game caused somewhere between $2 and $7 billion in damages during those few months. How bad was the Pokemon craze in that county in Indiana? Well, there were an additional 286 crashes reported, 134 of which were near Pokestops. Come on, people. No Pokemon's worth your insurance going up, although I hope you caught your Farfetch'd, because they, over the weekend, for their 48-hour window, and they moved them around, and Farfetch'd appeared in the US. So I hope you got one. I wish there was trading so you could give it to me. Anyway, despite the disappointing showing of Justice League, Joss Whedon is still hard at work on his Batgirl spin-off movie for DC. As of right now, sources close to Whedon told site Den of Geek that Whedon's still writing and directing the project despite Justice League's disappointing box office. Whedon stepped in to help the studio fix Justice League a little bit and take on some of the directing duties after the former director had to step away due to some family issues, and according to critics and most fans, he wasn't able to completely save the film. However, his Batgirl project could have him developing the story from the ground up instead of trying to save a sinking ship. Currently, DC only has 2 movies on its slate with set release dates: James Wan's Aquaman and Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman sequel, expected to hit screens in 2018 and 2019 respectively. So we'll see. There has been some concern over his continued involvement with Batgirl. Jude Law has been cast as, ready for this, the very first Captain Marvel. In the comics, his character is an alien with the very inventive name Marvel, who is sent to Earth to destroy it, but of course ends up as its protector. Eventually, he ends up passing the mantle to Carol Danvers, who will be the focus of Marvel Studios' first female starring superhero movie. Oscar-winning actress Brie Larson will be playing Carol Danvers. This film is part of the next wave of Marvel superhero stories that will carry the company forward after their decades-spanning story arc that culminates in Avengers 3 and 4, with Thanos finally facing off with all the heroes we've been introduced to since the very first Iron Man, and probably a lot of them dying, because it's gonna happen. And then we have new people to focus on, right? Alright, well that's the news for this roundup. Let us know what you think of all these stories in the comments down below. To make sure you get news from every corner of the internet every weekday, like this video. If you're new to this channel, subscribe to the know. Thanks to Movement Watches for sponsoring this update. Look, now that Thanksgiving is over, it's time to panic about shopping for gifts, or here's a thought: skip the panic and get someone a gift that will last for years, a Movement watch. Watches start at just $95, but they look like you splurged for $500. Movement figured out that by selling online, they could skip retail markups and middlemen and offer the best possible price. The watches have a really clean design that makes a great fashion statement, plus you can get multiple bands, so whoever you give this watch to can update it for new looks and keep it with them for years, and then every time they check the time, they'll think of you. It's sweet, right? Step up your watch game, or help someone you love step up theirs, and get 15% off with free shipping and free returns at mvmt.com/theknow.